Hello, you're here to debate? Hello, you here to debate? Yep, that's why I'm asking if you're here to debate.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I actually got on. My name is James. I'm 18, and I guess you can put down he, him for pronouns.
You said James, and how old did you say you were?
I'm 18.
Okay. James, what did you disagree
Oh,
with
very
on the
nice to meet
board?
you, by the way. Oh, discussing LGBTQ plus topics in schools.
Okay. Do you think we shouldn't be discussing LGBTQ plus topics in schools?
Well, before I start going off on my little rant, I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it before I start, going off on my things. I just want to hear what I actually disagree with from you, what you actually think.
Oh, yeah, sure. I believe we should absolutely be teaching LGBTQ plus topics in school because when it comes to these topics specifically, they tend to make kids more tolerant, as well as make kids feel less ostracized. So if kids are learning the history of the queer movement, if they're learning about what it means to be gay, what it means to be trans, et cetera, they're going to be more tolerant of people who are these things. And the kids who are these things are going to feel safer and more secure in coming out probably a bit earlier than they would otherwise.
Okay. Well, this is how I feel on the topic. I don't feel like we should, because it's forcing a topic on most kids that don't want to hear about it and don't feel comfortable talking about it. Say, based on religion or just views in general. I feel like it's more of a thing. Me personally, I think with me, I don't really care what you do and who you do it with in that sort of way. I just don't feel like everybody should be talking about it, you know?
So really quickly,
Just
really quickly.
You said what?
I personally don't really care what a student is or is not comfortable learning. Like, should a student be able to say, hey, like let's say I'm a teacher and they come into my class, hey, Mr. Bradley, I actually don't want to learn about slavery because I'm uncomfortable hearing about slavery. So I'm going to be
that's
absent
the part of
this.
American history. What is LGBTQ?
The Stonewall riots. The Stonewall riots is a giant part of the country's history. It's what led to gay people getting rights and not being ostracized and like killed on the streets. What do you mean?
Okay. To be honest,
do you know why you might
I
not
have not
wait really quick?
heard
Do you know why you might not know these things? Because we don't teach them in schools. Things that we should be teaching in schools.
Well, there's a lot of things that we don't know about our country that they don't teach in the schools, just not gay stuff or LGBTQ plus stuff. Excuse me. There's a lot of stuff that we don't learn in schools. It doesn't mean that we have to learn them in schools. Okay. I feel like it's more like with me with LGBTQ plus. I feel like it's more talking about who you want to be with for the rest of your life. Do you not?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. I just told you what it would be about.
What? Sorry, dude. I'm just fucking nervous. My bad.
That's fine.
I'm all over the place. But I don't feel like it should be taught in schools because, I mean, like I said, more religious things. People don't really agree with that religiously. And I don't feel like they should have to force to listen to it if they don't want to. Okay?
Should we allow?
If they want to make a class
should we allow religion
to
dictate? Wait, really quickly. Should we allow religion to dictate what is and is not taught in our schools?
I feel like it's somebody's religious. Okay, so if somebody's gay in school, they're able to show that, right? They're able to go out, be who they want to be, and I'm all for that. They can be who they want to be.
Well, in some places,
Why can't somebody with a
can.
religion do the same thing? So if somebody's a Christian,
Wait,
Islam,
learning about
Buddhist,
something. Wait, really quickly, James. Learning about something doesn't make them not be able to be a Christian.
Okay, they might just feel uncomfortable listening to it. Is all I'm saying. I don't think just because it's a religion that it should be thrown to the side. I feel like, and gay and everything like that, I don't. I feel like it shouldn't matter. Okay, I'm not saying that we should just throw Christianity in front of everybody and force them to listen to it or listen to any religion for that matter. I feel like if it's their personal preference, they shouldn't have to listen to it. Okay, and I'm not. And it's just like I feel like everybody should be okay with everything and not have anything forced onto them. You know.
But we're not forcing anything onto them. We're not telling them like, hey, you have to be gay. We're just
Do
teaching
you,
them that this thing exists. Like, do gay people exist?
no,
Yes. Then
I'm not saying like you have to be gay. I'm not saying like y'all are forcing us to like, hey, you have to be gay. I'm not saying that. I feel like if somebody doesn't want to have to listen to it, like they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to be forced to take. Like if it was like an elective class where you like choose to take it, fine by me. But I don't feel like somebody should have to be forced
okay,
to take that class
my
if they
question
do
then
not
my
want
question then
wish
goes
to.
the same. If somebody says it's against my religion to learn about slavery, should we not teach them about slavery?
What religion is
This is a
talking about
hypothetical.
slavery?
This is a hypothetical to test the logic.
Well, you're bringing something very, very dark and very bad into this conversation using slavery instead of using. And when it's gay, it's a lifestyle. It's who you want to be. It's who you like and who you are as a person, rather than making somebody do something without pay and forcing them to do it. It's two different things.
Okay. Prior to 1970, it was the teaching of the Mormon Church that black people were demons, basically, that they were of the devil. Should I have been
Okay.
able as a Mormon to opt out of learning about black history because I didn't believe black people were people?
Okay, look, I'm not saying that I agree with all things religions do. Okay, that me personally, I did not know Mormons thought like that, nor am I a Mormon. Okay, I'm just saying it's two different things: slavery and being LGBTQ. It's two different, completely
I'm not
different
talking about
things.
slavery right now.
You can't really compare the two. And well, I'm not saying like I hate the LGBTQ. I'm not saying like I'm going to disrespect them in any way. Me personally, if you want to do that, that's all on you. I mean, my uncle before was gay back in the 1970s in this little southern town that I'm living in, and he ended up killing himself because of it. I've lived with that. Okay.
Wait, why specifically did he kill himself?
Okay, so he was back, as the story goes, he liked a dude, and the dude was gonna go around telling everybody, and he wrote a letter and then shot himself because back then it wasn't
What?
people weren't comfortable with it, but
Okay, do you
that was
know that
bad.
in
That was
schools?
bad. I'll
Wait, really
admit, back
quickly
in the
though,
day, people saying,
really quickly, James, do you know that in schools that don't teach LGBTQ plus topics typically are going to see a higher level of bullying against gay kids?
well, in my school, they do not teach it, and I don't really see. I've never bullied anybody. I've never seen anybody get bullied because of their specific orientation. You know, I mean, there's tons of kids in my school that have came out and everything was a-okay with them and nobody cared. I'm personally friends with some of them.
Yes, because your school's a
But I
bit
don't.
more accepting. I promise you, your school has taught some level of LGBTQ topics.
Mm-mm,
I guarantee you.
never have.
What state are you
And
in?
they've actually voted against teaching it in my school.
Okay, what state are you in? You said
Alabama.
Okay, well, yeah, I take that back. Alabama's probably not teaching it.
Yeah.
It is the case. Let me just say, it is the case that when it comes to tolerance, specifically for the LGBTQ community, for the queer community,
Okay.
absolutely education leads to a higher level of tolerance. Education leads to a higher level of acceptance. Teaching kids that, hey, these people exist, these people are living their lives, they're not harming you, they're not harming anybody, they're teaching them the history behind it, leads to better outcomes. And
Cool.
anyone who's like, well, I don't want to hear this, right? They're just being bigots, basically. They're going, well, I can't hear this because I believe that my religion falsely tells me that they're going to hell. And so I can't hear about the history of this group of people.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't feel like it should be a like standard class in school. I don't feel like it should
Well,
be
no, but we
forced.
have, but
I don't feel like it should be like people like forced to take the class. I feel like it should be more, if it's going to be a
but
class,
wait,
it'd be more of an elective
the
class
thing
that
is,
people want to.
James, when we're teaching these things, we would be teaching children, we would be studying, right, a level of society.
Okay.
So we would be
Okay.
taking something that's social and studying it.
Okay.
So we already have a class for that.
Okay. And
It's social studies.
I'm not gonna be, I can't be specific with it. All I know is in Colorado, in a Colorado school, they started teaching LGBTQ plus in elementary schools to kids, I believe 12 and under. Don't quote me on that, but they, instead of just teaching them, like these are people and this is their history, they started going off the deep end and started talking about sex to these kids and talking about certain things that you shouldn't have to be talking about the sexual part of LGBTQ to kids. And I even with straight people, I don't feel like you should be telling them anything that young. I feel like it's
I'm
very
just gonna let you
inappropriate.
know. I'm just gonna let you know it's not being taught that way. There's like, I've not seen any evidence whatsoever to even remotely suggest that these schools are like, every time somebody says this to me, they never have the school. They just say, well, this one school, this one place was doing this thing. Okay, what was the school?
I didn't say. That's why I said don't quote me on that. I'm not. I saw a article. I did a little bit of research. Saw multiple things said about it, and that's where I went off of. I don't have a. I just know it was in Colorado. That's where I've seen it. I've also seen in libraries of younger schools. I've actually watched the parent teacher conference between as a book in the school where it's talking about how to give head to a gay man.
No,
And
that
the
is
father
a
was reading it out to the school board.
wait, just really quickly. That's not an instructional book.
Okay.
Like, that wasn't an instructional book. That's a book called, if you're talking about genderqueer, you're talking about called genderqueer. It's not an instructional book. It's just a book that has a sex scene in it.
Okay. I still don't think that should be in a school library. Even in high school libraries.
Do you think the Bible should be in school libraries?
I do not think the Bible should be in school libraries. No.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like that's a book that if you want to bring around and carry around, that's on you. I mean, me personally,
Yeah,
I'm not on a deep end
I
of Christianity,
I don't mind having a book like genderqueer in the library, depending on what the age group that can access it is, right? Like, if we're gonna say like, well, we shouldn't put that in libraries in like elementary schools, cool. I haven't, but if we're saying like, oh, a senior in high school shouldn't be able to access this book, I'd be like, well, why? Like, what? It don't make any sense. If it's a public
library, by all means. Like, I've been to I go to Barnes and Noble all the time and see that stuff, and I don't have a problem with it. It's more of I don't feel like it should be partaking in school. I feel like a school is there to teach you about American history, science, math, and prepare you for the real world, and to help you.
How can you prepare? How can you prepare for the real world? Wait, really quickly. How can you prepare for the real world if you're not learning about the way society is structured and works? Like, how can you, like, again, if you want to say like this book should be out of libraries because it has like a gay sex scene, okay, fine. Like you're not going to get like a
Even if it was
fight,
a
a
straight,
massive fight from me on that.
even if it was a straight sex scene, I'd have a problem with it. 'Cause I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
fine.
kids should
You're not
be
gonna get a fight
seeing
from me
anything
on
like
this.
that.
I'm just saying, how do you expect if we're just teaching kids math, science, blah 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 blah? How do you expect them to learn any? How do you expect them to come out well-adjusted, functioning members of society if we don't also teach them
Because they
about
have other kids
society?
around them to talk to. They have other kids and
We're gonna
teachers
let
to
kids
associate with.
teach
And
kids how they should act in society.
you know what?
You're saying we should let kids teach kids.
No, 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 no. Okay, so I would say in school, having friends and having social outings with your friends and doing things with them helps you act acclimate to other people around you. Okay, so it helps you know what other kids are doing, helps you be friends with other kids and relate to them with other things, and because you're going to be growing up with these people in the future. Like when I'm 30, I'm going to be having probably not the same friends, but I'm going to have people the same age as me that are going to be talking about the same things as we were kids. Same as my dad. He's 50 years old, and he talks about people who are with people who are 50 years old, things that they used to do and hang out and talk about things all the time. I feel like, like it just helped. If it was just like homeschooling kids, right? I feel like homeschooling kids takes that kid away from having a social life and really knowing how other people act around you.
Yeah, I would just argue that like we know for a fact that this isn't the case. Like a child interacting with other children is going to give them a level of social understanding, but not more than somebody who can like teach that child, right? Like not more than a curriculum would give that child. Like again, if I am in a community where there are no gay people, my child's never going to learn about gay
Okay.
people. And typically we're going to see communities where there is less representation of queer individuals have a higher rate of bullying when it comes to the queer individuals that do exist there. Like so, like
Okay.
the research on that just disagrees with you. Like
I'm a little confused. I kind of zoned out a little bit because somebody knocked at my door. My bad. You mind repeating that?
yes, the research disagrees with your premise. We know that children who are exposed to, for instance, queer things, whether it be at home, at school, whatever, are going to grow up to be more tolerant people and more accepting people. And if you live in a society or like a community that does not have a lot of queer representation in your community, and you, for instance, like let's say it's a very conservative community that doesn't really accept the LGBTQ as much, how are those kids going to learn about this stuff if not at school?
Uh, well, me personally in my part of Alabama, we're more of it's called the Black Belt, and all across the Black Belt is completely it's more liberal. I mean, you look at the geopolitical map, and you go by county and where it voted based on this past election cycle. I mean, that entire strip of land is basically blue. Okay, and I feel like the place I live is more liberal and liberal leaning. Yet they do not teach these things. And me
Well, yeah, but
personally,
that's because typically school curriculums like that.
I was never
Well,
taught
wait, you're in
LGBTQ
Alabama, so the
plus
school
things.
curriculum is going to be set at the state level. So Alabama doesn't want schools to teach it, so they're not going to.
Yeah, I agree with that. And but me personally, I've never been taught anything LGBTQ plus, nor anything along the lines of that. But I feel like I'm more of an accepting person, and I don't really view people based on how they are as a reason as me to dislike them. Unless they do something really messed up to me personally, I'm not going to just hate them for no reason.
Yeah, but I'm just letting you know your limited experience is not everybody else's, right? There are tons of kids who get bullied just because they are gay.
Okay, and I would agree with that, 100%. Some
And
people, it does happen.
we know that
A
when
bunch of things happen like that, but I don't feel like it's on as large of a scale as y'all believe it is. I believe it's more in bigger schools that are like. Cause me personally, I'm in a smaller school. You know, I would say like my high school graduating class had maybe 150 students, and I've never seen it. Everybody that I'm friends with never really had a problem with it. They just feel like it shouldn't be taught in schools, and that's just my stance on it.
Wait, again, that's fine if you feel that way, but it's not backed by any of the evidence. The evidence is telling us that children who receive this instruction are more tolerant and less likely to bully.
Okay, can I ask what stage are most of these kids taught this at?
You can be taught it literally in every stage in school. It just needs to be age appropriate.
I
Same way
feel
we
like
do math.
more
Like
deeper,
math, we don't teach kids like complex algebra. We start them at 1 + 1 = 2, and then they go from there.
Yep. Okay. Well, I feel like teaching it high school would be fine. Okay.
We gotta wait till the kids in high school to teach them that gay people exist.
Fine. But
What?
I feel like, huh?
We wait till high school to teach kids that gay people exist?
Yes, because okay. So wouldn't you say that kids imprint off of what they see? If they're told something, they're
For
going to
some
believe
things,
it
yeah.
without doing anything, right?
For some things,
more younger kids, they more imprint off their younger kids will imprint off their family around them. Is it what?
I said for some things, not for everything.
Well, wouldn't you say that the kid imprints off their parents based on how they act, and they're going to believe most things that their parents teach them?
Well, yes, but it's not because of imprinting. It's because they trust their parents. So if a parent tells them something, they're going to believe that, because that's like number one of people that you trust as a child is your parents.
Wouldn't you say that most kids basically believe what their parents believe? Most, not all, most believe what their parents believe politically because of what they've seen them do as kids.
Because they typically are only learning about these things from their parents. They don't have an opposing point of view. So they don't have reference to disbelieve something else. They just believe what their parents say.
I mean, me personally, my parents were kind of split 50-50. My mom was more on a different side. My dad was more on a different side. Me personally, I'm neither Republican or Democrat, more of an independent in my beliefs and more middle ground. But I feel like it's the kid's gonna believe what you tell them, no matter what, without even. They're not gonna go look up and
wait. Even that isn't really necessarily true. I mean, have you ever had a kid who just asks you why about literally everything, and then you get down to like a why train? Because they're curious. Kids are curious. They want to know as much information as they can get because they don't know so much. I just don't understand what this is trying to say. Like, I don't understand the relevance of the point.
I guess we did kind of go down a little rabbit hole here. My bad. But I guess this is kind of going nowhere. I mean, I don't feel like we're gonna change each other's beliefs here on anything. But it was nice talking to you, dude. I mean, that's about all I got to say. I mean, it was really nice meeting you and everything. I feel like I've watched a bunch of your streams, and I really appreciate how you actually like debate instead of just screaming over people and actually talk to them about facts and everything.
All right, no problem.
But yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for me.
All right, you have a good rest of your day then.
You too. Nice meeting you.
What time is it? 3 o'clock? I've been live for almost 3 hours. Shouldn't have ate, because now I'm like, a nap would go hard as fuck right now. That's crazy. Ice, thank you so much for the Venmo, friend. It's just that we really haven't had much debate today. Like, we haven't really had anybody that's like super opposition. We don't get Trumpers anymore. The Trumpers are so scared to call in, dude. Every call is about trans people. It's literally all they. What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching this video. And I want to give a special shout out to my YouTube members. Their names are on the side. Membership starts at $2.99 a month, and you get early access to videos, exclusive members-only videos, and access to the Red Mirror Media Discord server. Thank you again to my members, and thanks for watching.